And tonight we're going to be talking about the global membership approach. This method, this approach, this idea, this process is something that developed over a long period of time, and it was with a lot of people participating and a lot of heads coming together and trying to find a workable solution to our problem with membership. And they came up with what they eventually called the global membership approach, and that's what we're going to be discussing here tonight. So again, welcome to you all. Glad to see you're here. Let's see what sort of let's see what sort of information we can come together here. Yeah, coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is a progress. Working together is a success. And that's what we are really aiming for, is we are aiming for success. But in order to get there, it takes work. It's not something that comes along quickly. It's not something that comes along easily. You have to work it. And one of the first things that we learn when we're trying to develop especially something new, we learned that there's 4 elements involved with this. And the first element is building a team. Without a team, then you're doing it alone and you're highly subject to failure. I'm of the opinion that there should never be a committee of one, or should rarely be a committee of one. And the same is true of a team. I mean, a team indicates that you've got more than one person going on. And depending on what your goals are will determine the content, the makeup of the team, as well as the number of them. So it's something to consider. And then the next one is, it says build a vision, but really what that is setting a goal. When you build a vision, you anticipate, you're starting here, and you want to build a vision because your goal is right over here. And in order to get from here to there is a process. And part of that process is building a plan. There's an old saying that the only, a goal without a plan is just a wish. And it's absolutely true. Goal without a plan is just a wish. So building a plan is very, very important. And then we celebrate the success. And celebrating success is more than just smiling and thanking people involved. There's an element, a process element in that one as well. Let's talk about building the team. When we're building a team, we're trying to gather together people that have a like goal, a similar ambitions, and they like the idea of a particular goal, and they want to participate in it. Oh, well, she left, and now she's back in. Okay. So we need to bring together those that are ready to participate and those that are ready to lead. And without the leadership, the whole thing's going to fall apart. So we need some good, solid leaders. The future leaders, the young lions that have been with us for a relatively short period of time. And we also need, and this should not be considered lightly, we also need the participation, we need the consent, we need the permission of the club. If we don't prepare the club for new membership, then it's going to create problems further down the line. We need to have the club participating in this as much as possible, have the club ready to accept new membership with new ideas and maybe even new directions. It's very important. So we need to prepare the club. And we do that with club leaders. Come on, you're supposed to go. Okay. So with build a vision, assess needs, and set goals. The goal, of course, is growing our membership. But there's 4 elements that play into this. One is called rejuvenate your club with new members. Rejuvenate means exactly that. When we're talking new members, we're bringing in new ideas and new leadership a little further down the line, which is a great idea. Revitalizing your club with new service opportunities, because with new leadership, with new members, with new ideas, there's going to be service opportunities that the club may not have seriously considered before. So we've got revitalizing with new service opportunities, and in my opinion, that also builds a little bit of excitement and builds a little bit of anticipation of wanting to try something new, something different. And the third part is excelling in leadership development and club operations. When you participate in club development, when you are making an effort to make sure that your leaders have the proper skills, have the proper tools, have the proper training, then the moving this forward is much better, much easier. Club development or leadership development is something that's been going on for a long time. It's been available for a long time, and unfortunately, not a lot of people, including potential leaders, have taken advantage of it. And we need to encourage, especially our new Lions, to take advantage of this opportunity. And last but not least, sharing your club's achievements, not just within Lions, but within the community. This is the success part. Sharing it with your community and making sure that everyone is aware that you've got a growing and dynamic club. Looking at focus number 1, rejuvenating the club with new members. And these are questions that we need to ask amongst ourselves, amongst our membership. What do we need to do better to recruit members? And that is a question with a multitude of answers. There are many, many ideas, techniques, methods that different folks use, and the folks in sales, hey, they know how to do this great. And for those of us without sales experience, we have a more difficult time, and so we're always looking for different ways that might be able to fit our personality, fit our preferences. But we need to do a better job of recruiting new members. So ask the questions, find out something maybe a little bit different, and bring in some new faces. So why are members not joining our club? And again, the answer to that is a multitude of possibilities here. Some of it, of course, is the club and the appearance or the impressions of the club. Some of it is the community. Some of it is the individuals involved. There's a wide variety of answers, and you need to examine this and ask yourself these questions. Amongst your membership, you need to ask yourself these questions because we need to be able to answer the question. Why are members not joining the club? There's got to be some reasons behind it. Maybe it's a lack of effort on our part, or possibly other elements as well. But we need to answer that question. And why do people positively join our club? What is the attraction? Why are they joining up, and which are different from those that are not joining up? And if we don't have people joining up in our club, again, we go back to question number 2 there. So why do people join the club? And again, there's a wide variety of answers, a wide variety of circumstances that play into it as well. So we need to ask these questions. For number 2, revitalizing clubs with new service, we need to answer these questions. What are the club's service projects? Are the club's service projects relevant to the current community needs? If you've been doing the same service project year after year after year for 20 years, maybe you need to re-examine. Is this, in fact, beneficial to the community at large? Or is it beneficial to a small subset, a small group within the community? Is it something that is attractive to potential new members? Is the community even aware of this service project that you've got going? Again, ask the tough questions because maybe it's time for a change. Are members enthusiastic and actively involved in the service projects? Boy, oh boy. Many times, those two questions go hand in hand. They really do. And it's easy to answer that question. Look at the number of service projects you've got going and fundraisers. And look at the number of members you've got and how many of those are actually active in those different events. Whoop, whoop, come back here. Is leadership receptive to members' ideas for new service? Again, that goes back to the thought that we need to prepare our club for new members, for new ideas, because many times it's the leadership that does not want to bring in change. The leadership recognizes the new members, new ideas, new faces as somewhat of a threat. You know, the old thing about this is my rice bowl and leave it alone and that sort of stuff. So sometimes it's the leadership that we need to work on as well. And last but not least, are the service projects attractive for the new members? Again, if you've been doing the same service project year after year for 20 or 30 years, ask that question. Is that service project going downhill because we're not able to bring in some fresh spaces, some fresh energy? Maybe it's not attractive to our new members. These are tough questions that we need to answer. Let's continue looking. Excelling in leadership development, which improves club operations. Do club officers participate in training for their positions? You and I have heard this over and over and over again. I've been president for 4 or 5 times now. I think I know what to do. Maybe. I've been president for 7 years. The last time I went to training was 7 years ago. I know how to do everything. Maybe. Do club officers participate in training for their positions? If that is a no, if that is a maybe, if that is a I don't know, it's time to start stressing this again, because that can help your club operations substantially. Are members encouraged to take leadership positions? It's what I call a tap on the shoulder. Recognizing the ability, the skills, the characteristics of leadership in a lion, especially a new lion, and even though they have not been asked before, maybe you can approach this person and ask, would you like to lead up the committee for this particular fundraiser? Would you like to take on the role of vice president? Would you like, hey, you got some skills when it comes to finances and so forth. Would you like to take over as club treasurer? Ask the questions, tap the shoulder. You might be surprised at the response. This is a tough one. Do members regularly attend and participate in club events? This was sort of examined a couple of bullet points a few minutes ago. Do we regularly attend? Do we regularly participate? Every club has a contingent of members that we rarely see. They pay their dues, and we welcome that, but they've got other things going on in their life, and participating with Lions is a low priority. Yeah, maybe we can talk to them. Maybe we can bring them in and get them participating, or maybe we just need to concentrate on those that are new members and maybe bringing in some fresh energy with them. But we need to ask these questions. And do you need to reconsider the format of the club meetings? The format of the club meetings. We get into a rut. We do the same thing meeting after meeting after meeting. And if someone comes along and suggests that we try something a little bit different, of course, the immediate response is, no, that's so different. But our club has this tradition, and the tradition must not be violated. Ask the tough questions. In fact, couple this question with, is the format of our current club meetings, is it attractive to young members? Is it attractive to potential young members? Ask the tough question. And if the answer is no, you need to do some hard examining and figure out how you need to change. And the last focus area is regarding your club's achievements within the community. And so you ask, of the current activities, is the club active on social media? And some will respond with, social media is not important, or most of us don't have a computer. Irrelevant. Social media is important. And the easy answer for, and whenever the question comes up, is it really important? Is it really relevant? Look at the numbers of people in the United States alone, in Canada alone, that are participating on social media. That's where they are. And that's where you can meet them. And that's where you can attract them. Does your club have an e-clubhouse or a website? eClubhouse is easy to set up, amazingly easy, and it's easy to add and subtract and modify all of your different information in there. It's easy to do. Or maybe you have someone that is web savvy within your club, or a friend that might be able to help out when it comes to establishing a website. But look around and figure out how to get online. One of the things that your potential new members, one of the first things that they're going to do is, what are you doing online? Where can I find information about your club online? And if you're not online, if you're not there, you're missing a grand opportunity. How are you keeping the public informed of your events? You know, we've heard it time and time again that Lions is one of the best kept secrets within their community. And we need to get away from that. And so how are you keeping the public informed? Whether you're a small town or large metropolitan area, there are ways to get the word out beyond just social media, including newspapers, online as well as in paper. And there's a wide variety of community centers where different activities with different folks, different groups are going on. You can advertise within that. Business networking groups, advertising within that group. Any sort of a group, the Toastmasters, making sure that all of you participate in Toastmasters. Make sure that all the Toastmaster participants are aware of what's going on with your Lions Club. And you'd be surprised. Do we include welcoming messages that encourages people to join, especially on the website, especially on your Facebook or on your Instagram site? A note of welcome. We like to encourage you to look around and see what we do. If you'd like to participate, please contact us. And the welcoming part can be very, very important, because if you don't have that, people look at that as relatively static type information. This is nice, but it's not really inviting. Make it inviting. Now, with all of this means that internally within our club, we need to do some digging. We need to ask some tough questions. And many times, one of the best ways to ask these tough questions and get the tough answers is to have a third party gather us together and ask these tough questions. A third party, someone not involved with the club, and this process is called SWOT analysis. If you're not familiar with SWOT, it's examining your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. With each of these questions, and each of them answered, really reveals a whole lot about what's going on within the club and where you can move in the future. This is something that is very, very important. If you have not participated in a SWOT analysis, even, for the zone or the district or a different club, sit in and watch and listen. It's very, very interesting, and things happen very, very quickly. Strongly encourage you to tap the shoulder of one of your fellow Lions leaders outside of your club and ask them to participate. Let me reverse that. We first need to get the club on board with that first, yes, and have the club agree, yes, we need to do this, then bring in someone from outside to actually do the analysis. It's a tough thing to do, it really is. But it's also, you recognize it as very, very necessary. Resources for all of these different ideas. And of course, the Lions International website has a ton of resources. It's absolutely true. There's what we used to call the CNA, the Community Needs Assessment, as a real eye-opener. The Your Club Your Way, oh yes. The CQI, Club Quality Initiative, takes the SWOT analysis and moves it a bit further on the detailed dig, the deep dive as to what's going on within your club. Again, recognizing that someone outside your club needs to take the lead on that one. The club membership chair guide, if you're the membership chair for your club, this is a wonderful tool, gives you some ideas and processes for bringing in new members. It's not a complete thing. I think the complete thing would probably take about 30 or 40 pages, but there's some great ideas in here. What is not displayed in here and on this page, what is not displayed is there is several PDFs of 100 ways to do something. 100 ways to bring in new club members. It's a PDF on the Lions International website. Do a search of that, download it. There's some great ideas in there. There really are. Conversely, membership satisfaction guide is something that should be pursued as well. You want to get an idea of how your club, how your membership feels about what's going on, with, especially with the leadership. Try the membership satisfaction guide. I would also encourage taking that idea of a membership satisfaction guide and try a different angle. Leadership satisfaction guide that the membership fills out. You may not want to see the results, but you really should. The Just Ask marketing ideas and the service journey. Those of you that are familiar with the MD19 service journey, Lions journey, it's available on the MD19 website. It takes this idea, and in fact, John Kerry, the past council chair, was the one that developed this about 8 or 10 years ago, and since then, Lions International has taken what he did and gussied it up a little bit and claimed it as theirs. But on the MD19 website, look for the Lions Journey document. It's a checklist for membership, service, and leadership. It's a checklist, easy to do. I would strongly encourage downloading and utilizing that, especially with your new members. And last but not least is a troubleshooting guide. For those that are having difficulty, can't figure out how to bring in some new members. Maybe there's some difficulty in trying out new service projects or fundraisers. Maybe there's difficulty between some of the membership. We don't see it a lot, but it happens occasionally. A great idea right here, troubleshooting guide. So of course you want to establish the goals. And maybe your goal is you want to bring in, by the end of the year, you want to bring in 10 new members. An what's the word that begins with a plotting goal, something like that. Anyhow, you want to establish a goal when it comes to measurement, when it comes to membership. A what?
Achievable goal.
Achievable goal. Well, as a matter of fact, if you establish SMART goals when working up your plan, then your chances of success have greatly increased. Because SMART goals, yes, it's an acronym. Yes, we love our acronyms, do we not? Yeah. And SMART stands for specific, to ensure that the objective is clear, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound. Time-bound means deadlines. And for some clubs, for some groups, for some people, this is difficult to do. It really is. Measurable. I cannot tell you the number of times where I've seen club presidents, zone chairs, and district governors say, yes, I want to include membership for my year. Well, gee, that's not really measurable. That's not really specific. We need something a little bit more than just that. So we need something where you can measure that you're successful because you've achieved, whether your measurement is 8 new members, whatever it happens to be, you want it to be measurable, you want it to be actionable, achievable. I prefer achievable. And for me, every goal must be achievable, because if it's not achievable, if it's beyond our capability, then of course we're going to be failing. Realistic, I like this description here, challenging, but not unrealistic. And last but not least, of course, deadlines, time-bound. Whoever is tasked, whatever team is tasked with a particular element, make sure that there is a deadline involved. We need to have deadlines. We as humans, we respond better when we have a deadline. We really do. I know this because I love to procrastinate. Okay. So then we build a plan to achieve our goals utilizing these SMART elements. And when we develop the plans, we're going to be defining exactly what steps and how we're going to do it. And we do this by, again, defining what our goal is. And we're going to be defining specific steps, A, B, C, and D. And sometimes you can break those down into subsections, but the action steps, so you document exactly what you know you're going to be doing, and preferably in the sequence that you'll be doing it, when, the deadlines, who is responsible, and how will you know it's accomplished? How will you know you've achieved success? When you've got that very last element over here of the measurable, yeah, it was the second element of the measurable, and compare that, and you'll know that you've got a good success. I want to focus back on who is responsible for the action. And some of you have heard me talk about this before, so I may be repeating myself, but I'm going to do this. You and I have seen for years that people in charge of a person in charge of a particular committee or a particular task or a particular role within our club, our zone, our district, and they fail to do their job. And what do we do at the end of the year? We bring them to the front. We congratulate them for a wonderful job that they've done. We really appreciate their hard work. And here's a certificate. And oh, by the way, will you do it again next year? Knowing that they're going to fail. We've seen this time and time and time and time again. And we need to take a different approach. We need to take a business approach. I know we're not a business. We are a business. Take a business approach. If a person fails to do their job, we need to either move them, or we need to move them out of the position of leadership, or we need to move them to a different committee, a different tasking, whatever it may happen to be. I know. These are your friends. They're your fellow club members. You may be stepping on toes. You may offend. Absolutely true. If this was a business, that's exactly what we would do. We would move them to a different position, or we would let them go. Now, we can't very well fire them as a member, certainly not. But we can move them to a different position or move them out of that position. We need to make sure that our leadership, no matter how small or how great the leadership position, we need to make sure that the leadership positions are responsible for their action or lack of action. Okay, I'm stepping off my soapbox now. Thank you very much. Building success. Oh, and this is the great part. When you're successful, you want to share it. You want to share it with the public. You want to share it with your fellow club members. You want to share it with the other clubs in your zone and district. You want to share. And at the same time, you want to be able to say to other clubs that we have experienced this success, and we, if you need some help, we would like to support you. We'll participate as much as we can. We need to do this because mutual support means that we have greater success. And we also need to recognize the people involved. It can be as simple as a simple handshake and thanking them for their work. It's as simple as that. I know we don't join lines because we want awards or plaques or anything. I understand that. At the same time, we need to recognize people that have been working on these projects, because if we don't show our appreciation for their work, they're going to feel that they are unappreciated, and we're going to lose them. Something simple, maybe make a certificate, whatever it may be, but we need to recognize these participants for the work that they do, because when we recognize them, when we thank them, they're ready to continue helping along. Evaluate. We've heard of SMART goals. There's also, in project management, there's also the SMART-er, and the E stands for evaluate, and the R stands for redo. So evaluate this whole process. What went well? what did not, how do we adjust it, how do we change it, because we want to do it again. Smarter goals. So, and I didn't want to make it smart ec, evaluate and change. No. So yes, you need to do that autopsy. That's what in project management they call that an autopsy, and we evaluate. And again, asking tough questions: what went well? What did not? What do we need to change? Celebrating. Oh yes. Now, Lions International likes to brag that there's some wonderful merchandise in the LCI store. Absolutely true. There's some great stuff in there, some wonderful ideas. However, please keep in mind two things. Number one, the merchandise they have there is I'm almost ashamed to say very expensive. On the other hand, you can take those examples to a local trophy shop, and they can come up with some wonderful plaques and trophies and desk decorations and so forth. And I tell you what, there's some great ideas that the local shop, because invariably they've got a lot of experience doing this, they will come up with some great ideas as well. And you'll find that it'll be far cheaper than ordering through Lions International. I know, I'm not supposed to say it, but I did anyhow. And almost last but not least, and that is when we're working with this, excuse me, when we're working with this, understand there are lots of support, there are a lot of documentation, there's lots of ideas from the Lions International website. Don't hesitate to poke around the Lions International website, search for membership growth or search for GMA, and download these guides, download these task lists, PowerPoints. There's a lot of different information available for you to download free of charge. Take advantage of the opportunity. And come on, there we are. And last but not least, here's my last but not least, and that is the Lions Learning Center. We have training opportunities free of charge in the Lions Learning Center. The Lions Learning Center is in the Lion portal, and these courses, these are some the more applicable, if you will, categories of different courses that they have. These courses are not sit and listen. These courses are actually interactive, and they're free. Take advantage of this. There are other training opportunities that are available. And I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about from Lions International, there are what they call institutes where they will bring you to a central location and train you up for events. For instance, the Advanced Lions Leadership course is available. The faculty development course is available. The Lions Certified Instructor Program is available. There's a lot of different things available. These are not free, but if you're accepted, Lions International pays most of the way. They will pay for your hotel, they'll pay for your meals, they'll pay for the course material. You just got to find your way over there, how to get there. So that's available. And last but not least is the Lions Learning Center. No, not the Lions. Lions University. I misspoke there. Lions University. Yes, lionsuniversity.org. And you can actually take courses through Lions University. Great stuff that they have there. And it being a university, it means that you can find your way to a bachelor's degree, to a master's degree, to a doctorate from Lions University. Now, it's true that Harvard and University of Washington and UCLA do not recognize these degrees, but we do. So check out the Lions University, again, free of charge. Questions, thoughts, ideas. What do you think?
I like that inviting. We post on social media, but we always don't include the welcome. So that's a great idea, Al.
Yeah. Need to make it attractive.
One thing I've been noticing on our Facebook is I get a notification every so often, and it says, "Oh, this week so many number of people have looked at your page or your,
Right.
whatever."
Yeah.
And one thing really interesting is that I noticed that 29% of them are men and 70% of them are women.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, what does now take that a step further? Does that mean that you should be making a particular effort to reach out to women to try to bring them in for membership?
Well, I'm even at my other club in Chilliwack, I would do things like I went and knit hats for the children at the different schools because there was a community school and you see it, minus 20 at our temperature, and kids are outside and they don't even have a hat on, or the teachers don't have a hat. So I got busy knitting, and then somebody else says, "Oh, can I help?" They'd never joined, but they came to help out wherever they could, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
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 Or the wives of the members. And so we were knitting up. We had one person knitting up scarves, another one did mittens, two of us did hats, and it was anywhere from a baby in a buggy size all the way up to a adult. And so we got the community busy that way. And then, you're putting the word out, you're saying who you are. Do you have wool, extra wool you're willing to donate for this cause? I ended up with a whole room full of wool. And one time I went to deliver bags of hats and scarves and stuff like that. My little Toyota Corolla was jammed. No lie. Yeah.
Good for you guys. Wow.
So I'm thinking of, now that I'm up in Vernon, once I get sort of organized, and now that we've got a couple of older women that just joined the club, I'm going to find out, does she like to knit? I'm already starting to knit and hand out hats. So I'm going to get my cash big again, and I'm going to start donating to the schools.
There's a note there for you, Trudy, in the chat.
Oh,
We're doing a bit of networking here tonight, folks.
we are, yeah.
Lionel, I think Lion Barry had a question in the chat about where this recording will be posted.
It'll be posted on the on YouTube. Search by my name, and you'll find I've got, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 other recordings up there. So
Great.
So yeah, poke around, and maybe something else can catch your interest as well.
Yeah.
Other questions,
Yeah,
other
thanks,
thoughts?
Barry.
Yeah. Other questions?
Well, I have a question,
Sure.
and I'm not going to say this is recently. It's pretty much since I've joined the club. There are senior members in our club that have a hard time adjusting to kind of newer, more innovative ways of doing things. And another thing, because of that, certain people like to do certain things, whether they're good at it or not, whether they put in the effort that they should be or don't. But people won't get moved around for sake of, like you say, stepping on toes, making people angry, or leaving the club because they can't do something they like doing, even though they're not really doing it.
Yeah.
Um, Even in the past, various leadership people poo-poo anything that's new, anything that's different, anything that might cost some investment to move forward. And it's just tough. Like, is it best to try and, because it's not just these two people, it's these two people and those two people and these two people, not one person, these three people and those two people, and it's different things, different subjects, different types of projects we do, different types of fundraising we do. Whether we should do this, some say yes, absolutely, we're not. You're crazy if we don't, and the other people says, oh, absolutely, we shouldn't. And yeah,
Is there a solution?
I love all these people. Like, you want to get them all in a line and
Slap them around. No! Sandra, you got a thought on that?
So our club is a little big. We have about 126 members in our club. And our club has been around since 1938. So we've been around for a long time. A lot of generational members are in our club, which is great. So there's a lot of power with the grandpa, then dad, and now sons are in there. But our club has pretty much done the same service projects for a number of years, but they really service the community. That just the members change who are responsible for those. And about 5 years ago, we implemented what is called a service project fair. So it's kind of on the same course as when you go to college career night. When you're a high schooler, you go to college career night, you get to see all the colleges in one night. We have a service project fair / open house. So we invite the community so they can see all of our service projects all in one evening. And then our service project chairs, they all have all their boards or their props, because we do highway cleanup. So there's a bag of garbage. We have a wood cutting, so there's wood. And they're all together in one evening. And it gives the opportunity for some of our chairs to go, hey, I'm really looking for a co-chair, or I'm wanting to, I've been doing this for 5 years. I'd really like to give it up. And some of our new members come through and they go, oh, great. And we've had new members show up and join the club because of our service project fair. But it shows on one evening the community what else we do, because our biggest fundraiser is our community garage sale. And they all know we do garage sale, but we want them to know we do other things, like eyeglasses and hearing aids and, sight and hearing screening at the school. So it's a really good opportunity to share with the community, but it gets people out of their stagnant ways to not have to feel like they have to stay there. Or if somebody wants a co-chair, then they're able
if
to
they
work
see
together.
fresh blood showing interest in.
Yeah, it just revitalizes a couple of people too. So it's been
fun. How many people do you say you're in your club?
We have 126 members, and we meet on the first and third Wednesday of every month. And typically we have about 40 to 45 members at every meeting, at those two meetings, because there's a lot of members who just don't want to go to meetings. So during new member orientations, always tell them, okay, the board meets and we gather and have fun. So it takes the word meeting out of that verbiage. But the rest of the members, they have other things that they do. So the members who really are active are the ones who come twice a month and are active.
That service fair idea is a great way to refresh, re-examine, try something different. You make the service fair happen, and that will only happen if you've got the leadership behind the idea. And in Barry's situation, you might be able to break this barrier that you got, this wall of indifference, if you will, by bringing the idea of a service fair, so that you can show off to the rest of the community, and at the same time bring in new members, and maybe that will break the dam.
Yeah. Our open house, when I took over as membership chair, they always wanted to do the open house in April. And we couldn't get anybody because April, people in the community are thinking about graduation, proms, all that stuff. So So I
Taxes.
suggested, can we do it in September when it's a brand new school year? Parents aren't thinking about graduation and Mother's Day. And so we have a little bit better turnout because it's in September with our service project fair /, open house.
Yeah.
Do
If
you,
you guys want to try it,
do you invite your
fun.
Leos?
I missed your question.
Do you invite your Leos?
Yes, we do because Leo's is part of our service project. They're one of our service They just broke off just this last month to be their own club at the school, but they partner with us on so many things. So they do come to our service project fair, yes, and have their own
Oh,
booth.
so
And
your Leos were more like articling lions?
so Leo's came around maybe 10 years ago. One of our gentlemen, he was very much into the high school and implemented the Leo's Club into our club. And so they partnered with us to have their same fundraisers, everything. But they just broke off and became um, a school club instead of, so all their money it goes through them now. We don't hold on to their money. It all goes through their service club at the school, but they still partner with us. Like tomorrow, they're gonna show up with I got the costume for them. They're gonna cheer us on for the shopping spree. They help us out at our garage sale, and they walk in the Lions costume at all of our parades. So
Wow.
How did you get Leos to be lions at a young age like that?
Well, it's within the high school. We have a great. She's also a lion, but she's their Leo advisor. She's the middle school history teacher, and
Oh,
she
that
just
helps.
so it helps. It really does help. But we did have within our club members who were active in their working days. Were active in the schools that they came from. So administrators, teachers, and so they became Leo advisors. But with our lion, who's actually a member and also a history teacher at the school, the connection has just been great. So it went from about 2 or 3 kids to 25 kids.
Wow.
That's awesome. Yeah, we just started our second club we have 3 high schools. We have a Christian high school and 2 public high schools, and they go from 9 to 12. And I finally worked my fingers into the other school. We haven't done any of the official paperwork or whatnot, but they seem to have they have 40 signed up, but so far 20 are being active. Now I got to get the paperwork in and do all that fun stuff. And Peter wants to come and do a big fancy what do they call it? Installation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, which I think for the kids that just puts the cherry on top.
Yeah. Yeah. Our website, Barry, if you want to go to the Coopville Lions Club website.
Spell that?
Excuse me?
Can you spell that?
You
Sure.
put it in the chat so we
Oh,
can see
yes,
it.
I will. I'll put it in the chat. Go to the website and we have a service project page on there, and there's about the Leos, and actually they're on the front page too. I put some pictures on them. The advisor always wants to really support them, so their pictures are on there too.
Yeah.
But I can
Where's
add that
Coopville?
to there.
Lion Sandra, for your service fair, so that's a marketing for your community to come out. So it's like an open house, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Sounds great. Yeah, I'd love to
Yeah.
hear
That's
more about it.
interesting. We've thought of doing a community appreciation day,
Mhm.
and we could wrap that in around it.
Yeah, yeah, it's been very effective. We've had quite a few members or members from the community join because they've learned what our service project fair is about. And because a lot of people don't know what we do other than the garage, they all know we do the garage sale, but our town we recently took on putting up these plywood scarecrows and the snowmen, and it's very hometownish. And so we had one gal join because she wanted to help put up those snowmen. So you just never know what triggers somebody to join your club. It's the smallest things. So
Yeah. Barry, going back to one of your earlier questions, how do you bring Leos into the Lions, into the regular club after they graduate? And one of the best ways to do that is to get your Leos to participate in the Lions events, so they know by experience what it's all about and what to expect.
Yeah, we do that, and I guess there was a maybe 2, 3, 4 year gap where they didn't have a Leo advisor, our first club, and then I took it over because it was my graduating school. And I said, "We got kids in this school, and you didn't tell me." So I've been doing that for going on almost 5 years now.
Oh, good for you.
Um, and the very first project we had 25 kids show up. We asked for a dozen, and we got 25. And this year, and then it petered out after that, but for that same event. But yeah, we do have them come and help us do cooking and set up and serving and set down and that kind of stuff. And this one for our Remembrance Day here in Canada, we have a big deal at our cenotaph in Port Coquitlam.
Hmm.
And we had 22 kids show up, 6 of whom came from the new school. So
Oh.
we were thrilled.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But it's that transition because being in a metropolitan area, some of those graduating kids will move on to university and they'll stay home. Some just going across from the burbs to UBC. UBC is way out in the city, so the kids will hang out there. And just don't know how to, like, what's the selling proposition to get them to sign up, even though, they might be at, one of the schools on way out in the city and maybe even living there, but keep them active here. Like, I mean, do you use concessions where you give them half membership fee for staying in first couple of years, or
What for our club, for our Leos club, what we do is we don't charge the kids at all. The club pays the dues, and we do it that way.
yeah, we do that for the Leos, but when you want them to become Lions,
You can only go so far. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we'd love to. I mean, these kids have so much energy.
Yeah.
Um,
A lot more energy than you and I. Thank you very much.
yes.
Yeah.
We love them when we have projects where we have to set up stuff and
Oh, yeah.
clean it up, and
Yeah.
like, whew, let's just sit back and watch them go.
Barb has been sitting here in an unaccustomed fashion, quietly. And I normally don't experience that with Barb. Barb, there must be something bubbling up in your head that you want to talk about.
I'm just trying to absorb all this stuff because I'm not super good at getting people to join the club.
Yeah.
But I am excited. We do have a young man who has applied to be a member. We voted on him. We're waiting for his dues. He's part of the Federal Way Public School District. He was, when we first started doing the car show and handing out scholarships, he was one of the first recipients of a Lions Club scholarship.
Ah.
And so he's excited about being in the club. He is the tech support. What is his title? He's got a fancy title. Director of Instructional Technology at the Federal Way Public School District. So we are excited.
Wow. That's excellent.
Hopefully,
I still like Al's title.
hopefully there'll be a couple of more young people in the school district that will sign up.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Well, I tell you what, you get someone like that, especially when they're in a position of leadership like that at such a young age, they're going to bring others right along
That's what
behind
I'm
them.
hoping for. I'm excited about having him there, and he's he's excited about being part of our club, partially because he got a scholarship from us.
Right.
And then he was able to, I think he's 31 years old or something. And then he was able to, go to work for the Federal Way School District. So he's, pretty excited about joining our club.
Good.
And we're
Good.
excited about having him,
Here. Yeah, absolutely.
especially the only person in our club who's really techie, Eric. Eric's like,
He's going to bring the rest of you kicking and dragging.
yeah.
Kicking and
So
screaming. Yeah. Very good.
anyway, I'm writing down all these things, and even though I'm not the membership chair, I've gone on Lions Learning Center too, and taken the courses on the membership chair. So I'm trying to get educated.
Good. That's what we need. And congratulations on your new lion. Mike, you got to go? Okay. All right. Thanks for dropping in, Mike.
Thank you, guys.
I got to meet Mike Eisenberg out of Utah when I was in a position of what did they call that? GAT group leader. Yeah, and I was assigned as GAT group leader, British Columbia, Alaska, Washington, Idaho, Utah, and Oregon. And so, as a result of that, I got to meet a whole bunch of Lions from Utah. That's where Mike and I have connected in the past. So, but anyhow, other questions or thoughts? I realize we're bumping past almost past an hour, but other thoughts. We had a great discussion going here, and I do appreciate that. Other questions or ideas?
I would mind maybe one or two from each of you, maybe something unusual in the way of a service project that can also be a fundraiser, or a service project that is purely for a school or for the general community, or maybe some specific community within the city in need, that we could do a service project that at least breaks even or doesn't cost much. Because I know some of our service work is not necessarily about raising funds, it's just about serving, but we don't want to go broke doing it. You sort of spend a few $100s to do something really cool for your community. You could also call that marketing.
Sure.
But maybe things is how you've helped somebody in your community, you helped kids in a school, showed up at certain fairs, just something unusual. I have a bunch of things rolling through my mind, and one of my members said, "You need a secretary." Little things run around in your head. But I would love some weird and wonderful things. One thing that came up is I saw, I don't know if it was, I guess it was Facebook. A club they were doing a fundraiser pre-anniversary, and it was a hot dog meal they were doing. It was a fun thing for $10 US. So I'm thinking, okay, that's pop chips and a hot dog. We could do that.
Yeah.
And then we found out one of the concession stands at one of our ball fields hasn't been used by the city or the ball clubs for years. And we're thinking, maybe the city would let us do that. And we're working through that right now, and to see if maybe we can do dogs and swag and goodies for the ball clubs. Because sometimes there's as many, if during the summer, 4 clubs. Well, it would be 8 clubs because there'd be 8 teams, 4 clubs all at the same time. So we're also looking at things like garage sales, which isn't the easiest. Whatever. Anybody?
I turned off. Go ahead.
Yeah. Is
Go
that
ahead,
you
Trudy.
all making all that noise? Just a few, well, it was in September. and our club does the shredathon. So, and the company that does the shredding, they volunteer their truck, they volunteer their man. We do proper advertising. We advertise in the newspaper, on Facebook. We rent one of those signs that sits in the parking lot with the letters on there, you know, those bulletin board type things. I forgot what they're called. And we did notice that you can't just put it on Facebook because then nobody really checks it out. We had to do the extra, the newspaper and the billboard thing. And it doubled what we made from last year to this year. And it was really good.
Donation
And
or
then
minimum donation?
we charge $5 a box. And I know there's another group up here and they make theirs $8 or something. But you know, we're just trying to help the community. So we left it at $5. But people come up, they've got one small bag of shredding or one small box of shredding, and they hand you a $20 bill.
Yeah.
And then this year, we had a new barbecue that we had bought, and we had leftover hamburgers and hot dogs from a function we had done. So we also were selling hamburgers and hot dogs like dirt cheap, just because we had to empty our freezer. But we did that as well. But on that day, we had a bunch of us working on the shredathon. And then another one of our members goes around to a few businesses. They save their cans, pop cans and stuff like that for us. So she was running out to there and then taking them to the bottle depot. And then my apartment building decided they were going to have a garage sale. So I put up a table. I've got all these things to sell. And I make a big sign that says, by reasonable donation. And so they made, a couple $1,000. The bottles made, another 50 or whatever dollars. And with what we pre-sold, we brought in about $450. That was just me doing a garage sale. So
Yeah,
we're
actually looking at one of the waste recycling companies. Now you can register, and you have to have a specific type of bag, and you just, instead of having to take them out and put them in a thing and go through the roller, you just put the same types of cans, the same types of bottles, the same types of Tetra Packs in the same bags, and you just put in your code. They spit out stickers, you put them on the bag, and it goes right into your bank account.
Yeah,
So
unfortunately, we don't have that here.
Our followers, like for our supporters, our meat drop people, and people on our Facebook, saying, "Hey, why don't you just donate your bottles and cans to Lions Club? And here's the code. Put them in a bag, drop them off, done. Easy peasy."
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have that capability up where I live, but both of the recycle places, anybody, and we do get people that do it, they will walk up, they sort their bottles, the whole thing, and they say, okay, here's how much money it is. They say, please donate to the Vernon Lions. And they'll phone us up and say, do you want to collect your $1,000 check now?
So you've partnered with the recycling plant?
Both the recycling plants are very generous with community organizations helping with that. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good discussions here tonight, folks. Yeah. We are well past an hour, so I'm going to suggest I make a motion that we adjourn for the evening. All those in favor?
No.
Objection noted.
Okay. just an FYI,
Yeah.
Trudy, you say up here. Where's up here?
Who's
You're up
that?
there. Where's there?
Oh, I'm up in Vernon, BC.
Oh, in Vernon.
I'm in the Okanagan. Yeah. We got like 45,000 people.
And Barry, where are you located at?
Port Coquitlam.
Where, say it again?
Port Coquitlam.
Oh, okay.
And they recently or are about to celebrate their 75th anniversary.
We are.
And
We're having our
Barbara, where are you
celebration in May.
Yeah, we have our 80th coming up in November, next November.
Yeah, cool. Very good. Very good.
Barbara,
Oh, that
where
sounds
were
good.
you from, Barbara?
Federal Way.
Federal Way. Okay.
So, just so you see where everybody's going with, can see where I'm going with this. Sandra, I'm doing a map quest. You're 2 hours from me. Maybe we'll come down and do a visitation.
Okay. We meet on the first and third Wednesdays from 6 to 8. And we do a dinner as we cater a dinner from our local grocery store. And it's a donation. So you bring your own utensils and so we don't have to, keep the environment
Can I
steady.
bring a fork through the border?
Yeah, I guess so. You just can't bring your own food, I think, or vegetables
no,
or
we can't.
fruit. Mhm.
Yeah.
So you're sort of near Mount Vernon.
We
Ah,
are. We
yeah.
are. You take Deception Pass Bridge to get over to Cootville.
Yeah.
We're
On
on
the north
Whidbey
end, the north end of Whidbey Island, there's a bridge that connects the mainland.
Yes. Yes.
Cool. And 120 members in that little space.
Yes.
In
There's
that
actually
little town.
And
there's
we're just past
actually
25.
there's 6 lion clubs on our island, and our island is 65 miles from tip to tail, but each Lions Club, they service the community in which they live in. So each one of us, we service our community. We just happen to be the biggest, but we partner with them on a regular basis. Like Central Whidbey, we help them put up the flags 13 times a year because their club is a little older, and there's maybe 35 people in their club, and mostly men, but they just need help putting up the flags 13 times a year. So
When I joined the Lions Club, I joined the Oak Harbor Lions some 42 years ago, and there were 2 clubs on the island, Oak Harbor and Coopville.
yeah,
It's nice to know that you guys have grown. Good for you.
yeah, very good. It's very good.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, we'll have to make a special occasion. Just, maybe you
Yeah.
can tell us where the cheapest Airbnb or hotel is. And we'd love to come down.
Yeah. Well, let me know. I'm the membership chair, and I can certainly arrange that. So yeah, absolutely. That would be great.
Cool.
Well, we need to see more of our, other than just at these conventions. I know like one's going to be just across the border and one's going to be in Chilliwack coming up. So hope to see some of you there.
Do you attend zone meetings? We have a zone meeting tomorrow with 9 of our clubs. Do you guys go to zone meetings? Because it's a really great way to network with your other clubs and
Yes.
know what
We
everybody
have
does.
5 clubs in our zone,
Yeah,
and we just had one last month.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and we just had a visitation from our vice
District governor.
district chair.
Mhm.
And 5 years, I'm still trying to learn all these little different things.
Yeah.
I'm vice president now, and I started reading up on vice president. And I feel all powerful now. I'm crossing the president all the time. No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Unless everybody says you can.
Yeah. Enjoy the illusion while you can.
Till it's my sentence, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, thanks, Al. This is always great, and I'm looking forward to more.
Indeed. And I want to thank you all for coming over tonight. I do appreciate your connecting. And let's do it again. All right.
Yeah.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you
night,
so
all.
much, everybody. It's nice seeing
Night,
you.
everyone.